Good afternoon, friends. It's Thursday in Black, August 13th, Daily Reflection, late in the afternoon. As a kid, I heard these words often. As a parent, I said them often. And as your pastor, I say them almost daily. Wash your hands. My mom would tell us to go wash our hands when we came in from playing or working in the yard, and it was dinner time. She would tell us to wash our hands when she assumed we were dirty. I've been saying those words to you now for months and months. We've been hearing them from people regularly on the news, or you read them on the ticker tape across the bottom of a news feed. Wash your hands. Because in this time of COVID-19, it's supposed to keep us healthy. I remember a day when my youngest brother, always willing to push the end boundaries a little bit, when we were told to go wash our hands, we did that. We washed the palms of our hands and then wiped them on the towel that hung in the bathroom. Because, after all, as my youngest brother said, we only eat with this side of the hands, Mom. Unfortunately, Mom asked to see the back side of the hands. And that's when my youngest brother went a little bit berserk. Because then we all had to go back and wash the backhand of our hands. Even though we didn't use them, they came nowhere near our mouths when we were eating our food, even corn on the cob. But that's the way it worked. When I got older, probably in high school, I was teaching Sunday school class, and I remember that we dealt with the Matthew 15 text. And so when my mother said to me, go wash your hands, we're having dinner soon, I said, but to quote Jesus, Mother, to eat with unwashed hands does not defile. That would be Matthew chapter 15, verse 20. So Jesus says I don't have to wash my hands. I don't know exactly what my mom said, but it went something like this. And God told Moses, you shall honor your father and your mother so that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God gives you. Fourth commandment, go wash your hands. Guess who won that round? And the battle, by the way. I offer this because Sunday's gospel reading, which I'll not be using, but I'm curious to see where Laura takes us in the children's time, spends half of the text with Jesus talking to the disciples and responding to the charge of the Pharisees who leveled at him, Jesus, that he was not following the traditions of the elders, which was wash your hands. Now, we all know how important traditions are. In fact, there's a great song and a great play about that. Tradition, sings the actor whose name I've just lost. And we in the church have fought major wars over traditions. Yet sometimes we also see that our traditions have become obstacles. This year, for example, we're celebrating 50 years of ordination of women in the ELCA and predecessor bodies. 40 years of celebrating the ordination of women of color in the ELCA and predecessor bodies. And 10 years of ordination of LGBTQ people in the ELCA. Our tradition of men only being pastors has changed for the better. We are much richer for this change. I've also shared with you in previous reflections about changes in worship music that have enriched our worship. Even when some thought that we were ruining worship when we moved away from organ only. So I find the first half of this text in Matthew that we'll read on Sunday to be mind expanding. Now, to be fair, the Pharisees wanted to maintain the status quo. There were reasons for those traditions, and they must be kept in place, they offered. They were genuinely concerned about people not being undefiled, not being unclean. because to be unclean also meant one was outside of God's care. Now think about it. When you're told to wash your hands so often, it's because it prevents those nasty germs from getting inside us and making us sick. No wonder moms all over the world, I assume, told their children to go wash before eating. Mom didn't want her kids to be sick because she knew she'd have to take care of them. And it would be easier not to be sick, not to be undefiled, not to be unclean. Jesus, however, asks a different question. What is it that makes us unclean? He asks. It's not what goes in that causes us to be unclean, because that gets flushed away. Rather, it's what comes out. Jesus changes the focus from our hands to our hearts. It's our heart that is the seat of uncleanliness. It is the heart that creates the problem, if you will. Think about that. What causes you to be angry? Is it something you put in your mouth? Probably not. What is it that causes you to be jealous? What is it that causes you to speak ill of someone or to steal? Is it something you ate? Probably not. I know that I get angry and jealous when I feel that someone is getting something that I can't have. I badmouth somebody because I want to be seen as better than them. How about you? Do you suffer from a heart disease like me? Jesus is clear that what comes out of us defiles us. And this is not the first time that he's changed the tradition roles. Remember in the Sermon on the Mount that he says that thinking about adultery and murder makes you an adulterer and a murderer? Pretty harsh words. Wow, that heart is a powerful organ, pun intended. So here's the challenge that Jesus lays down for us. To pay more attention to where our heart takes us. Do we have a heart for Jesus, for the actions of Jesus? Do we have a heart of loving one another unconditionally, of loving one another as we love ourselves? Is our heart in the right place, or do we need to clean it up a bit? I suspect that all of us, yes, all of us, are in need of some open heart surgery from time to time so that we can bypass the evil that grows inside of it. Reading Jesus' words, hard as they are, that it's what comes out of us that defiles us and causes us to change is exactly what we need. How will that change manifest? Well, come back tomorrow because I'll tackle the second half of that reading and we'll see how changing words make a difference. Until then, I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Even though many of you are here now, I still will look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And of course, remember, wash your hands 20 seconds at a time, couple 3-4 times a day. Put on hand lotion afterwards because you want them to be baby soft. Stay home if you're sick, especially if you have congestion and lung problems. Love one another, even as you love yourself. Practice that important physical 6-foot distancing between non-family members. Family members, hug them, squeeze them, give thanks for them. Wear your mask when you go out in public. And of course, Sergeant Esterhaus tells us, be careful out there.